Hi, I'm Lila of Nevillution, and today I'll be commenting on Neville Goddard's 1969 lecture, The Battle of Armageddon. And while I do, enjoy the footage from a lovely cafe in the Japanese countryside near Mount Fuji. Neville says, "Formerly, I worshipped a man because he was known, rich, or intelligent. Then I discovered that the one who is the being of beings, the God of gods, was my very self. Then he began to awaken in me, as I learned to overcome everything external to myself. And as I did, I realized that I was the cause of the phenomena of my life. I accepted this fact 100%, and he fulfilled his promise. To him who conquers, I will give the morning star, the symbol of the new day and immortality." So like many of us here, we still see the world as separate and not as a projection. And that's why we throw away our power sometimes, our happiness. Because we worship, we envy, we get jealous of the things on the outside. And as we learn this truth, God, the divine, start to awaken within us. When you realize you are the cause of the phenomena of life, no longer will you worship, envy, or be jealous of anything on the outside. For knowing who you are, you will be able to have everything from within and perfectly reflected on what you call the without. So what Neville Goddard calls Armageddon, it is not an actual place in a battlefield, but it is the battle of the old limited concepts of God sleeping as man, mankind, the earth, and the war of the truth of what you are and your unlimited eternal power rising up. Just as you hear these mystical truths, and for many it resonates deep within, and yet you go about your day and you still see limitations, and yet you know too much. Many have even had their own experiences to validate all that's being taught here. But until we have enough experiences and it fully unfolds within us, we may still react. We may still judge after appearances. We may at times still feel challenged to go all out in faith. And so that all that you see in the world, it's reflecting the inner conflict between the old, the new, the elusive limitations, and your unlimited fate. So when you look at this world, Neville teaches you, you must look at everything symbolically. In a sense, you must see this world like a dream world, like the dream world many see when they sleep, where it takes on the tones of reality. Neville tells you to remember, the conflict is in your imagination. So when you find yourself getting upset at a conflict on the outside, remind yourself, this is part of the dream. This is symbolic of something in the dream of life. And in that moment, you become lucid. And don't feel bad, don't beat yourself up, because even Neville himself, when he has had this experience of awakening, he recalls, "Although I have overcome the world, as the drama has proved, I may find myself listening to the radio or watching television and get involved. I do it by forgetting and coming down into the nonsense in this world. Then I must get back up on the mountain and see it as symbolism, telling me what is happening within." And just as Neville said, that's all this all is around you, symbolism. Impressions from the different things you think, feel, believe, what you immerse yourself in. Neville goes on to say, "I cannot tell you the shock that comes when all of the beliefs by which you have lived come tumbling down. You will no longer be able to turn to anyone on the outside to praise or blame for what is taking place in your world. If it is unlovely, you are its cause. If it is lovely, you are its cause. Everything unfolds within you, and you are detached from what takes issue, yet you know you are its cause. For as the world of truth erupts within you, it sets one against the other. The word is not confined, but when it comes, as it has in me, I bring the new wine which the old bottle cannot contain. As the world erupts around us, we may wonder what is taking place and ask ourselves if we have lost control of our children, as they are so different now. We can say all kinds of things, justify our actions and beliefs. That is our right. On occasion, I find myself sucked into the same stream and pass an opinion not based upon the truth that has erupted within me. So for those who start to really understand these mystical truths, and sometimes it might seem as part of that process that the world becomes upside down, but that is only the limited illusions you once had dying away, and these grand eternal truths reigning supreme in your life experiences. And how would it feel to realize that everything going on around you was projected from within you? And how would you view all the conflicts going on in the world, knowing that it is symbolic of the conflict within you? In closing, Neville says, "The world reflects this disturbance, and those in the world are being led like sheep to the slaughter. Yet in the hearts of those who observe it from above, it is cause for rejoicing as they wait only for the eruption of God's immortal plan. Jesus Christ is this immortal pattern of salvation. Its eruption in man causes an eruption in the outer world, as the young is set against the old, and the new conflicts with the traditions of men. In the meanwhile, take what you know of this law and use it towards your own personal good fortune." So what Neville is saying is that even though we may feel all these horrors are going on in the world, it is just symbolic. For you are the seed of God, and as that seed blossoms and breaks through the seed, even though the seed has broken apart, in divinity, the rose eternally blooms. But in the meantime, until the promise, enlightenment, whatever you want to call it, unfolds within you, you can use the law of manifesting to get whatever you want in Caesar's world. And Neville teaches how to do so in such a simple way. You simply go to the end and assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. There's no need to ask anyone or to ask if it's right or wrong. If you like it, assume you have it. And Neville says, remain faithful to your assumption, and the being who is going to erupt in you will take you to that end. And he tells you if you find yourself moving away from the desire, go back to it and once more assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And continue to do this, and your assumption will harden into fact. And you can do it right now. What personal good fortune do you want to manifest right now? And if you were blessed with that good fortune already, how would it feel? Now, let us go into the silence. Good.